Welcome back to another adventure in the world of seiken densetsu sango.
Who are you talking to?
The audience.
What audience?
The one Deadpool brought with him.
I don't know who. Do you mean Kevin?
No,
Is that
Deadpool. He cool.
y- you know what? This is just another weird boy thing, isn't it? Let's go.
When will girls ever read comic books? That is a horrible generalization of women, and in fact, most of the women that I know of actually read comic books.
Yes, just not Big 2 because Big 2 continuity gets really fucking confusing.
Big 2?
Marvel
Marvel
and
and DC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with DC and their constant reboots. Constant reboots.
It happens with Marvel too. Like, not necessarily reboots, but just like the labeling for the stories. Like, okay, if I want to look up, what was it? Young Avengers? Why are there 3 entirely different things that are all labeled Young Avengers #1? And that apparently aren't, like, actually reboots. Some of them are, like, at least one of them is actually a continuation from a previous one.
Yeah.
But they just decided to change it for the hell of it.
It's something called the speculator boom, unfortunately. It's been a big problem since, like, the late 80s, early 90s.
Get this way.
Oh.
This poor guy. He's like, all in pain with a migraine or something.
Seems that way.
Anyways.
Because in the late 80s, early 90s, a lot of people took notice that reselling comic books could net you a very large sum of money.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, first issues of Spider-Man and Superman garnering in the millions alone.
Mm-hmm.
People then thought, oh, if we get the first issue of a comic book, then we'll be able to, like, make buck with it and get rich.
Okay.
Yeah. So because of that, Marvel and DC wound up getting involved in what's called the speculator boom. The comic books would become huge sales if they were all #1 first issues. This is why the best-selling comic book issue known in the Guinness Book of World Records is X-Men #1, because for one thing it was the peak of that speculator boom, and in addition to that, it was a 4-cover variant. So everyone would try and get all 4 of the covers, and all 4 of the covers connected to each other. So everyone thought that would be, like, the most expensive comic book as it would go down the line, as time would go on.
Huh.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That still doesn't explain why, like...
A lot of people still do that today. Like,
what's the point? Like, okay,
making money.
But
the people still believe in the speculator boom.
Right, but like Marvel gets their money when the issues like first sell. So why do they care about people selling it later?
No. They're trying to get people. You're misunderstanding. Everyone will want to buy the book if it's a #1, so that they can resell it, which means that there's a lot higher of a chance for people to buy it. Yeah, we did. There's a lot higher of a chance for more people to buy it if it's a #1.
Okay, so why have people not realized this yet?
A lot of people have, but it's a lot of corporates.
I think we want to go this
Kevin.
way.
It's a lot of corporate BS that they still believe that this isn't going to help. A lot of the times it does, and you can even see this on YouTube videos these days, where the first in a series, that was a mistake. The first in a series will always do a lot more. Heck, our videos alone for Seiken Densetsu, actually the first one is like the most viewed one.
Oh,
Yeah.
and probably because it's people checking out what the heck we're doing.
Yeah, exactly, and that's no different in comic books. So so when they put out a #1 issue, instead of issue number 689,
God damn it.
People will in fact take notice and buy those ones more because it's the very first issue. That's one of the reasons why DC did the whole New 52 thing, was so that they could make sales on #1 issues.
It just, like, I guess that makes sense. It's just very frustrating. And it makes it very difficult as someone new to comics trying to get into it.
Yeah. Well, it's also really it's difficult in general for people to get into new comics. Stan Lee always had the idea that every comic is somebody's first, and that there still needs to be like a lot of little footnoting on.
I don't think this is where we're supposed to go.
On comic books, so that people who haven't read the previous issues will know what's going on. Of course, that leads to a lot of stale dialogue and large amounts of exposition.
Yeah.
So that becomes problematic for its own reason.
Right. I mean, I just want to be able to follow a story all the way through, and then it's really difficult to do that when they keep changing when they keep restarting the numbering without actually restarting the series.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so I've got #2 here, but which #2 is it? Is it the #2 I'm looking for, or is it the #2 that comes later after there's been, like, 3 new characters added to the team?
Oh, yeah. And let's not also forget the mega-wide crossover event kind of stuff. Spider-Man the Other was the biggest pain in the ass for me personally. Where
why can we not go underneath that?
I have no idea. Where in it spanned across Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, and adjectiveless Spider-Man.
Adjectiveless?
Yeah, that means it doesn't have any...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So, yeah, that alone tells you about, like, how that one can be a pain in the ass, too. For some people, like myself, who were...
Okay, there we go. Whoa, hold on. What the hell's going on? Okay. There we go.
For someone like me, who was trying to really follow the Amazing Spider-Man comic book continuity, this did prove...
Carey, what are you doing here?
This did prove to be quite a difficult challenge.
Get back here.
Because it was even though it was clearly labeled, it was still kind of difficult to figure out, okay, which one do I go after next? Yeah.
Yeah, I hear ya.
Yeah, and this happens on many different things. Image Comics probably has like some of the worst cases of that happening, where Youngblood alone is just so stupid with what it does. Wherein you have to buy issue 1, but also buy issue 0, but issue 2 doesn't follow after what happens in issue 1. You have to get Team Youngblood to follow what happens.
Issue 0?
Yes. Don't even get me started with issue 0 bullshit.
God.
Yeah.
Comics, why are you so weird? Like, this isn't even actually getting into the weird. This is just being difficult.
Yeah. It really is.
You know what? This is a good chance for me to show off my spell that I've got. So I didn't do a lot of leveling up, but I did do enough that I got my ultimate spell.
Oh, nice.
So,
enemies go boom.
essentially, they go. First, there's two of me, and then they get zapped, and then they go boom, and then they get frozen. Yeah. It's somewhat impractical, but it's just neat. There we go. Get that one taken care of. Now that statue at the start should be gone, so we can move to the next area.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. And we get a heal for it. Huzzah!
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, there's... Who's the... That's
That's
okay.
me. Yep.
There's a lot of issues when it comes to
That one's you?
comic book continuity. I want to hit harder.
Okay. There we go.
You know, obviously in its numbering system, obviously in its naming convention.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also, like... with the new 52, I was really disappointed by a lot of things. Because, okay, trying to restart the continuity on Superman and Batman in order to try and make a buck, that's... whatever. That's just difficult as all hell.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if their writing sucks, which it did.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see. But with the new 52, it also allowed for several other characters to get reintroduced to the public and give a chance to have a new story told for them.
Right.
Two of which I found very interesting and wish that they continued on. What was it? It was like Sword of Magic was, I think, the name of it. I'm not entirely sure. But essentially, it's supposed to be the story of Amethyst, which was...
Oh, right.
Yeah, I've told you about that one.
Yeah, and I watched the like DC shorts thing. Yeah, that was neat.
Yeah. So I actually read up on both of them. I rented them from the library recently. And I read up on both of them. The one has very tricky continuity, but is still kind of really steeped in that mystic lore and story writing. But also makes for some interesting moments.
Ooh, this is great.
Like it's still like a good story. But then they had this like updated one where it followed several tropes, but it was trying to be something similar to like what Game of Thrones was doing by trying to mix in a lot of like, by trying to mix in like a lot of families and like loyalties and mysticism and all that jazz.
Just a lot of stuff to keep track of.
Yeah. Did that kill him?
Hopefully? Yes.
Okay.
Good job.
And you know, it was like it was a pretty solid book, you know, and although I felt like it was a little weak in some places, I felt like what was coming, what could have been coming into its writing wound up just being missed opportunity as because it got canceled all too soon.
Yeah.
Which happened with my next one that I really wanted to talk about, which was The Phantom Stranger. So The Phantom Stranger never really had any strong sense of continuity to begin with. He was always a character steeped in mystery, but they always said he was the man. He was a man who had committed the greatest of sins, and he was atoning for it. Now you could read that into
Let's try it this way.
Now you could read into that in so many different ways.
Right.
The reboot of New 52 makes him Judas.
Ooh.
Yes.
That's very interesting.
So now he's Judas, and now he is literally working for God. He hears the voice of God to tell him what to do. The first thing he does in his comic, I need a heal.
Yeah, working on it.
The first thing he does is he goes to try and to meet up with Raven. And God tells him to get Raven and give her to Trigon.
Huh.
So it becomes that whole God works in mysterious ways motif. And I think that that's interesting. Like, it's actually like a much more biblical God that's so intriguing. Because, like, if you read Bible God's an asshole.
Well, at least Old Testament Bible God.
Yeah. So it's especially interesting how they decided to go about that, and at the same time, Phantom Stranger also tries to give himself a little bit of like a family that's kind of his, kind of not his. That becomes part of his weakness and adds on to his character in like the sense that he still wants to be a simple mortal man. But there.
Nope. Can't do it. Thank you.
But there was supposed to be like something even bigger than that going on because he was supposed to be part of something bigger called the Trinity of Sin.
Huh.
Like it was him and I'm trying to remember. I think it was the Question and somebody else who were supposed to be part of this Trinity of Sin, where they were all trying to atone for like some sort of horrible deeds that they had done onto the world or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, but it never went anywhere.
Oh, Juliet.
So what winds up happening, which really is a shame, what winds up happening with
Shit.
Really? That was quick.
Yeah, well, you also probably were low propel from the previous screens.
Yeah.
I just didn't notice.
So what winds up happening is they cancel his book and he gets one more issue to just kind of wrap things up.
Right.
Which they don't. They just give him a reason to die.
Oh.
Yeah. They leave off on a couple of cliffhangers with like with the Trinity of Sin and this one guy that had found out Phantom Stranger's secret identity.
Yeah.
Like
were they legit cliffhangers or were they just we didn't have room to resolve this?
We didn't have room to resolve this.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I can deal with that. It's when something's getting canceled, but leaves off on like an absolute cliffhanger.
Yeah.
That gets me. Like, I will take a dozen, Inuyasha series endings before the final season.
Yeah.
I will take a dozen of those over Young Justice's final scene. Like, if it's getting canceled, I'd rather just have a... Look, we haven't finished everything yet, but we're kind of... We maybe have it under control. We think we can do this. Then, oh shit, stuff's about to go down and we're never going to know what.
Although Inuyasha kind of did that too. But I get what you're saying. Like...
I mean, from what I remember, the way that the, like, actual series ended before they got final season was... Oh, we beat Naraku back for now, but we still have to finish collecting jewel shards to beat him for good.
No.
Wait, no?
No.
Wasn't that how it went?
No.
What?
They found an incarnation of Naraku who didn't know he was an incarnation of Naraku, but was holding on to Naraku's heart.
Okay.
Was it? And they tried to befriend him, all while also young incarnation of Naraku is planning something nefarious. Kagura has been burnt pretty badly and was recently helped out by Sesshomaru. What else happened?
God damn it! Why will you not die?
And if I remember correctly, Miroku's wind scar had been scratched up, so that he was about to die really soon.
I think the Miroku thing happened during, like, in the first few episodes of final season. It's been a while since I've watched it, but...
Like, I recently watched the final season a couple months back.
There we go.
It's entirely possible. I'm misremembering. I will fully admit that. But I think that they actually stated that's what happened. Like, that at the very beginning of the final arc, like, my wind scar is really badly damaged. I don't know how many more times I can do this.
Still, I very distinctly remember the actual final scene of the series itself was them all essentially walking into the sunrise, like, we got this.
Yeah.
So, like, I will take that, that is... If it gets canceled without time to resolve, I will take that. Anyways, that's it for this time, guys. See ya around.
Letters.
Why are you guys still dancing?
We love to dance. Do do do.